Hi, this is Bill Milford with the Division of Social Work here with Dr. Ann Landis, and we're going to give an overview of the Quality Enhancement Plan for Thomas University. And I'll be asking Dr. Landis a number of questions about the QEP, and hopefully this will help better inform you so you can be knowledgeable when we have our SACS visit coming up. So, Ann, give us, first of all, an overview of what SACS COC is and why they're important, and then how the QEP fits into all of that.
Sure. SACS COC stands for the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges, and they are our regional accreditor. So like all of the most reputable schools in the southeast of the U.S. who are regionally accredited, we have SACS COC accreditation. And what that means for us is that we have met all of the standards of integrity of our academic programs, our student services, our finances, our leadership, our faculty and staff qualifications, and in every way we have to meet a high standard to show that our degrees are of value to our students, and then secondarily the federal government recognizes that and makes our students eligible for financial aid, federal financial aid. If you don't have regional accreditation, then you lose that opportunity, and you really don't. You lose the chance for your students to go undergraduate programs at other universities and places where the quality of the degree carries you forward in life.
So it's really what makes you a reputable institution.
It is.
Well, how does the QEP fit into all of that?
Part of the accreditation, it involves a visit. Well, the accreditation involves a 10-year visit where we go through everything every 10 years to be sure that we meet all the standards. And a very important part of that is an opportunity that the visit gives us to develop a quality enhancement plan. And we're asked to focus on a particular area where we would like to spend extra energy and even financial resources to be sure that our students are learning in every way as effectively as we would like, and are as prepared as possible for the world of professional work and citizenship. And so we look at the data that we have that says where are we strongest and where could we put more of our energy, and we focus on that for our
So
QEP.
where did our QEP for this accreditation end up?
Well, our students have so many strengths, and we see so many good measures of that. But we also see that our institution puts a lot of our energy into thinking critically and communicating effectively and using information. But we have put less concentrated energy into the fourth of our general education outcomes, to foster community. Even though that happens through a lot of our degree programs, it isn't something where we have collectively said, well, how would we like to see this happen and push this further? And the other part of it that we have felt like we have not been able to offer as much as we'd like is opportunities for more international engagement, global awareness, and chances to interact with others here if students aren't able to go to another country to have that experience. So that turned up through our analysis as the place that could really be exciting to put our energy.
So I see the mission is to enhance our students' understanding and appreciation of different cultures through education, activities, and conversation, to give ourselves intercultural learning, the ability to understand and interact with others with diverse cultural perspectives, and broaden our definition of who is part of my community. So we're making the TU community part of the bigger global community.
Right, but we're also asking each of our individual students and ourselves as faculty and staff who will be helping to develop that in our students to think personally, who's my community? Who do I feel comfortable conversing with and talking about issues with? And for most of us, we tend to glom onto people who are a lot like us. Mm-hmm. And yet our worlds cross over into everyone's lives. There is no being isolated anymore, even if you wanted that, and it's not desirable. So
the QEP is not just an awareness piece, it's a skills building piece.
It is, and intercultural is a hot word right now in higher education because the world is global and learning has to be global. We're doing students a disservice if we're not talking about the global dimensions of all disciplines. But there's a whole nother level to it, and that's feeling comfortable interacting with people that you haven't grown up with,
Mm-hmm.
or necessarily understand their belief system or their religion. How do you address that? And just have curiosity and learn to see that we have so much in common with the human community, and how you say my personal circle actually includes lots of people who don't just look or sound or believe just as I do, but we actually have a lot in common that we share.
Well, let's take a look at the strategy that Thomas University is going to use in order to implement this QEP. So we've got a number of different components. We're going to start out with the rationale. So that's, and you basically talked about this prior to this, which is why should Thomas University do this enhancement plan? It's because it's part of one of our 4 educational outcomes of TU, the idea of fostering community.
Right, and our broader mission is that our students are prepared for success in a rapidly changing and complex world, not just
Amen.
Community. And so this is understanding difference, appreciating difference is the key to that.
Okay, the question of capacity is, do we have the resources that we need in order to succeed with the QEP?
Yes, we do. I mean, we will invest some financial resources into programmatic aspects of this, but the bigger issue is, do we have the human resources to be able to do this with all our hearts? And we certainly do within our faculty, staff, and students. We have wonderful diversity amongst ourselves that we will more conscientiously be able to discuss and explore and share with each other. And we have great diversity in the region around our university here, as well as where our students are in online contexts too. And part of our plan is to be able to take advantage of those chances to meet with people and get familiar with people, diverse cultures in ways that are really right across the street in many cases. And we have the capacity to bring in diverse guest presenters who can talk to us about things that, frankly, no one wants to go to Syria right now. But we could have a speaker who could talk to us about the issues from an insider's view on that, and give us lots of insight and chances to ask questions, which you don't get when you're just watching the news.
TU's got great technology to be able to bring people into campus even though they can't get to campus.
Right.
So that'll be really helpful.
And then we have really great programs, and lots of these things are touched on in our programs already, but we'll utilize our curriculum to do that even more.
So the components piece asks, actually, how are you going to do this?
Well, one thing is we do have a plan for concertedly adding more global discussions and global awareness into courses in every major program. And with that, we want to add as many exposure experiences, we're calling them, as possible, where we're asking students and setting up ways for students to have interaction and kind of get comfortable with talking to people who you may not feel like you have a language barrier, or you have a perceived difference of beliefs or opinions that would make it hard to say, hey, we're neighbors. And so building those into ways where they're not added on to the curriculum, but they're just inherent parts of the coursework in the major programs. The other thing we would like to do is have more what we would call immersion experiences, chances for students to get course credit by doing a study abroad trip, or a little bit longer term trip to a very diverse cultural setting within the United States as well. We also want to do co-curricular things where we would have group meetings, more informal meetings, where someone will volunteer to teach a foreign language just through conversation, through going to the Hawk's Nest or logging in online and just learning words, understanding more about that language and expressions in that language. Not formal grammar classes or for credit things, but just kind of getting used to that idea that language doesn't have to be a barrier. And other groups that could discuss global issues, where we have someone who has some knowledge or awareness of that, who brings people together who are interested in staying abreast of those things and talking about them from diverse perspectives. So it's
it's both an informal and formal strategy in order to be able to engage students and faculty around these issues. Great.
That's right. And it'll take faculty development as an aspect of this.
Yeah.
so that faculty also feel comfortable doing this and can lead the way and know how to integrate these things into classes, and that all of our campus community is thinking about this and thinking, hey, this is an opportunity to bring someone with this interesting perspective. And another very important resource, as I said, is to invite our own international students into classes to say, how's this done in Sweden, or tell us about your experience in South Africa, or whatever the place might be.
So how would we know if we were doing this right, if we were achieving the outcomes we wanted to?
Well, we will do assessment, and that's part of being able to say to SACS that we didn't just have a good idea that never got off the ground, but we're going to measure whether it did make a difference for our students. We will provide opportunities for students to strengthen their understanding and acceptance of cultural similarities and differences, as I described, and increase skill and comfort level with interacting, and feel that it isn't just that the school is doing more, but personally you feel more enabled, more empowered, and transformed, to use our language here, that to be connected to the broader global community. And that happens, again, right down the street with neighbors, as well as feeling like you can travel to Asia or South America, wherever your professional role might take you, or just for personal interest.
So that's what we hope to get, and how will we know if we've got that?
Okay, well, that's the assessment
Thank
part.
you. I'm sorry I phrased that awkwardly.
That's okay. And to assess, well, for one thing, we just want to kind of keep account. Have we made more opportunities available for students, so that you almost can't miss having had more opportunities to learn? And then we want to pay attention to people's participation in those groups and presentations, and we will measure what students will have done in classes, just as we would any other class assignment, to be rolled into that. But at the end of a student's time at TU, when they graduate, we will ask students to take a global perspective inventory. It's not a test at all. It's not graded. It's not. It doesn't have any bearing on completing graduation requirements. But it's an indicator for us of how students' perspectives about cultural differences and how they feel about interacting with others with cultural differences, how that has where they stand on that. It's not really measuring where you started to where you finished, but it's saying, as our graduates leave, we want to see if you have achieved some comfort level with those things.
Great. So if in the big picture, if we did all this right, what will Thomas University look like by the time our next SACS visit rolls around in 10 years?
Well, for one thing, just here together, whether that's happening in our classes online or face-to-face on campus, or amongst our athletics teams, all of the ways that we interact, we're very conscientiously talking about cultural differences and similarities, what we share, how we differ, how to understand differences and accept people and reach out to people who we might not have felt we had the tools to know how you talk to someone who seems different before. So, hopefully we will see a real change in our comfort level of addressing diversity, and sometimes that's scratchy, and sometimes that's wonderful.
Well, we can see in politics today how difficult it is. People
but having that dialogue and not just ignoring it and sticking with people just like us is the key. So that is one consequence I would hope we'd see in our campus community. For our students, this is such a key tool for success in their professional lives and futures. So we will hope to see that they feel like we have strengthened their ability to succeed in the next career move they make, and in the way that they can foster community within the neighborhoods and our larger communities, and really see themselves as making a global difference.
They're ambassadors from Thomasville, and from Thomas University, and their ability to reach out. So our big picture is we've got a big accreditation visit coming up, and we've developed a strategy to try to improve a specific piece of Thomas University's program here. How can everybody on board help out with this process?
Well, the visitors who will come will be on our campus from April 5 through 7, 2016, in just a few weeks. And they will be meeting with lots of individuals specifically about lots of aspects of the quality of our institution. But they will be interested in whether every single person who works here or attends school here has some knowledge of the QEP, of the direction that we're going to take in the next several years to implement this. They don't expect that we have started to implement anything. So it's not that you would have to say, oh, my life's already been impacted, but just that you know about it, you know about the theme, you're excited about it, and you think this is going to be a really good thing, and that you feel like you've thought about how you could participate in that, how that might affect if you're a faculty member, how it might affect your classes, if you're a staff member, how you can be sure that we're being as culturally diverse as we can be, and open, having avenues for being able to appreciate cultural differences as we answer questions or interpret someone's demeanor and so on. All of those affect the way we do our day-to-day work. And so we can all say, how can I be a part of this and understand more and broaden my own community, foster community.
And the QEP committee will be providing additional information and different kinds of promotional pieces of what our QEP is all about throughout the campus, so be looking for that. And thank you for your time, Ann, and thank you for watching this video on the QEP and helping to do your part to make our SACS COC visit a successful one.